All right, everyone. Sean Smith here from PPC AMSaccelerator.com. And today I have a special guest today at my house, which, you don't see a lot of interviews being done in real life these days. So it's George Meressa, Mr. Founder, CEO of Clear Ads in the UK. And he came to visit me in Illinois, my house in my small city in Illinois. So George, why did you come visit me to my small house in Illinois?
I was like, enough is enough. I've spoken to Sean for about a year and a half now,
Yeah.
and we haven't met in person. So I was like, Sean, I'm coming to see you. So I was in Vegas last week, I was in Vegas this week, and I had a bit of time if I had to fly back to London. So I thought, let me go and spend some time.
Yeah.
And meet Sean in the flesh. I can confirm, everyone, Sean is real. He is a real human being. For those of you who haven't met him in person, he's not an AI. He's not a hologram. He's a real person. Look.
Oh, no.
Sorry,
dude.
man. I didn't mean to hurt you.
Yeah. So I will say, man, it's been crazy. Like we've been talking for a year and a half, and we've grown. Like we've learned so much from each other, and then meeting each other, it was crazy, dude. When I picked you up at the airport, and just seeing you was just, it was so weird, man.
Weird. The weirdest thing for me is when I speak to Sean, I got his undivided attention, right? So I'm always kind of like he's listening, and we're looking at each other, and we're focused, right? But then the other day it was at a petrol station, a gas station as you call it in the US,
gas station,
and he's just waiting in line patiently with a bag of chips, that's ready to pay. And I was like, that's just a side of Sean I haven't seen. The regular human Sean.
So guys, if you notice, I live a baller lifestyle. I go to gas stations to get my chips. That's what us ballers do, man. We go to gas stations, get them chips.
I was just watching in awe when he did that.
I got some pork skins. Hot and spicy pork skins, man.
That's what you got. Yeah, I can confirm he did get that.
So. Yeah, they were good too. They were real good. Yeah. So we've been hanging out. So George came in Friday. Today's Saturday. He'll be out Sunday. So short trip. Yeah. But we got to spend some time together, just relax, talk, get to know each other, learn. And one thing we wanted to talk about was kind of like the state of the industry. Yeah. So I'm going to let George go first since he is the guest of honor, and then I'll just ping off of him.
There's a company I met a few months back. I think it was at the Kevin King's event, the $1 Billion Seller Summit. And what they basically do is they get a lot of information from a whole load of Amazon sellers to provide a macro understanding of how the industry is going. I think one of the last emails I read from them showed that I think 6 months in a row, the total number of sales from the Amazon accounts that they have has actually been shrinking. So this year, yeah, and that's 6 months in a row. And what that goes to show is if you are a business that's growing right now, you're probably taking market share from someone else. That's what's happening at the moment. So we're not seeing that growth anymore. Yeah. I think from an industry point of view as well, between us and a lot of other agencies, there's a lot of churn at the moment. So I don't think a lot of sellers really understand. It's not the agency, the reason why their account might not be doing so well. It's just the environment that we're in right now. Yeah. So it's just a really interesting time, isn't it? Because we've seen so much growth, and now everything's slowing down.
Yeah, that's one way to say it. I think for me, I'm seeing the same thing. So it's not like a macro level. I don't have that macro point of view that company has. Yeah. But I'm seeing that same issue. Yeah. It's inflation rates. Yeah. Basically what's happening, at least from an economic perspective, what I think is happening, and what a lot of people are saying as well, is that inflation is increasing the price of everything. Yeah. And so what's happening is people have to redirect what they spend their money on. And so what are they going to spend their money on? Their rent, their food, their utilities. So if they have to pay more for those items, then they can't buy, they don't have as many discretionary funds to buy products off of Amazon. Yeah. And it's more expensive to buy things off of Amazon. Yeah. Some people are going from buying, because you can buy certain things from Amazon that are everyday items. I guarantee there are a lot of people that are switching from buying off of Amazon to going into the store
Yeah.
because it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
also on top of that, you got to bear in mind this year is very different to last year, in the sense of people are traveling now.
Yeah, that's
So the
true.
travel industry has gone mental. There's been a few times I've been stuck at airports because they've cut down on staff, but the same amount of people, maybe more, are traveling now than they did before COVID.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
so there's a lot more expenditure on going out and eating out and
Yeah.
going out. So and also going abroad, going on holiday. So when Amazon sellers say to me, "Oh, I want to maximize my return compared to the previous 2 years," we always have to challenge that way of thinking because
Yeah.
you have to understand where the world is at right now. So I guess items around travel probably have seen some improvements after kind of a colossal drop in sales during lockdowns.
But everybody else is getting hit hard, man.
Yeah,
Everybody else is getting hit hard. And like launching is a lot harder than it used to be.
yeah,
Everything's a lot harder than it used to be. So you have to and switching from that, in the Amazon industry, it's like it's been a gold rush,
yeah,
and so it's kind of slowing down. And so like before it was all about sales, 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 and now we're looking at profit. So
yeah.
we're having to
You
switch.
got me into that.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
got me into that.
yeah.
Yeah,
And we're using seller board with a lot of
yeah.
our
We're
clients.
using Sellerboard as well.
So, we're transitioning from a model where it was strictly looking at advertising, like the account, to looking at how these advertising changes impact profitability. And, if agency owners, consultants, and even Amazon brand owners, if they don't switch to that model, it could really hurt them. If they're just like,
Absolutely.
my ACOS is doing great,
Yeah,
but your PPC sales could be eating into your organic sales.
yeah,
And so your profit's actually less, even though your ACOS looks great.
yeah.
That's why profit's so important to look
But
at.
not only that, I think if you're working off a sheet, a Google sheet or an Excel sheet,
Yeah.
and you're factoring in cost of goods, that's no longer enough.
It's true.
I think this is where something like I'm not trying to promote Sellerboard in any way. We use another one, but I forgot what they're called. But you have to factor in the taxes. You have to factor in
Yep.
you have
Deal of the day.
the deal of the day. You have to factor in
Those price points, refunds.
yes, you have to factor in refunds. There's something else you've got to factor in as well. FBA fees, because they're trying to put that up now. So
Yeah.
so there's all of these things to bear in mind when doing stuff. And I actually just to kind of say, just to add to what you said, you got to consider the flip side as well. Now you have to consider, okay, the PPC spend, is it driving more awareness to your brand that you're seeing more sales organically?
Yep.
And that's something else to bear in mind, because if you're seeing overall sales are improvement, in terms of overall profits are improving,
Yep.
then that's definitely something to bear in mind, and you shouldn't be so ruthless to shut things off. So that, for example, if you're trying to go on a heavy budget exercise, like kind of cutting exercise, and you start cutting out anything that has an ACOS of over X amount, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
You really can't do that anymore, because some of those terms that you're going to cut out might have a high ACOS, but they might have been doing some substantial work to get your ranking up for certain keywords. So again, you have to monitor the keyword rank. What are you ranking for? Is the keywords that you're ranking for something you're doing on PPC? If they are not, then why not? If they are, then what does maintenance mode look into it? On top of that, you now have to also factor in inventory. Are you going to run out in the next few weeks? Should you really be spending that much money? Is there anything you can do now to ensure you don't run out of stock? Is there any fast way you can get your inventory in? Could you have a fulfilled by merchant option available? You have to start thinking outside the box. And a really important point you brought up a minute ago, Sean, is when you said launches are becoming harder, which I agree with a lot. And more people are using incredibly aggressive strategies on pay-per-click to get to the top of the page, which is driving up the cost per click.
Yep.
And that's why, especially if you're in a subscribe and save model, you really have to understand the lifetime value. Yeah. There's been one or two brands I've sat down with them and I had to kind of really break down, okay, the one time cost might make your account look like it's not doing well, but when you factor in, okay, on average 40% of the people who buy your product tend to buy again, and that 40% tend to buy a certain amount of times, then that's going to change the whole game in terms of how you advertise. And if you understand this information, you can act on it and then you can start being aggressive with a long-term approach rather than cutting back with a more short-term focus. A company that does this really well is Nozzle. We've been messing around with a company called Nozzle. They kind of can factor in repeat purchases and figure all that interesting information out.
Yeah, dude, it's totally true. It's You have to rethink how you manage your business, man, and even your ads. You have to really prioritize. Hey, which ad types should you be spending money on?
Yeah,
Because Amazon's rolling out a lot more features like sponsored. They're really pushing sponsored display this year,
yeah,
and the features there, and they're pushing spend there, and they're like, hey, you need it, and a lot of their literature around. Like I was invited to a webinar, so an ads webinar for a specific category for my
yeah,
client's category, and they said, hey, they were giving these metrics of, if you do this, we've seen a 100% increase in sponsored brand sales or a 2.5% increase ROI. But what don't I see in those numbers? I don't see profit. I don't see profit margin. So the way I'm operating now is it's ads are not their own ecosystem. It's ads plus organic.
yeah,
So we need to tie them together, because if you don't, then you can, it's hard to help that business grow. So we're really spending most of our energy like tying those items together, because we've been in situations where, like I put a YouTube video where we decreased our client sales by like $40,000 a month, but increased profit by $20,000
yeah,
a month. So more sales is not always good.
yeah,
So you have to track, like, when we go aggressive, what does your profit look like, and your margin and the dollar value. You need both, because the margin could be lower, but the dollar value is higher.
yeah,
And so you need to, when you're running tests on advertising, if you scale it up, measure those numbers. If you scale it down, measure those numbers, because you might find that a lower sales velocity increases your profit, and that's better for cash flow. And so, and it's better overall, because then you need less inventory. A lot of people don't realize that, like, there are benefits to selling less in some
yeah,
situations, less inventory,
yeah,
less potential refunds. Um, there's a few benefits. I mean, obviously it's not a ton, but like, and maybe more profit. And if you're more profit, then that's great. And right now, I think companies need to not think about how do we grow. It's how do we survive. It's how do we survive this new approach to business, because it's not like it used to be, man. It's
yeah,
the economy. You can't beat the economy.
yeah.
You
And I
can't do
think
it.
from a kind of a roundabout way, we're having more Amazon brands reach out to us for our services. For as an agency point of view, it's great because we get more business, but they are understanding that it's not as straightforward as it used to be. They're
Yeah,
understanding that it's far more complex, and anything you do on there has an impact on the business. So there is a fine balance, isn't there, between you have to cut back and be careful and survive, but also you have to be innovative and change. And because those brands that I personally know who are in the eight figures, eight, some nine figures, like they are constantly innovating. And what
yeah,
we tend to find is if you have a product that stands out, PPC becomes easy.
it does. Yeah,
If you have a product that's similar price to someone else, I had one chap reach out to me a week ago, and I was like really trying to dig into his products. And I was like, okay, how many reviews do you have? About 1,000 to 2,000. How many reviews has your biggest competitor got? Around 20,000.
yeah,
What's the difference in price? Not much, right? So straight away, there's alarm bells when he's talking about how can I be more aggressive with PPC, because without even knowing, he's probably sending traffic to his main competitor,
it's
right? They
true.
look at his product, going, right, he's doing
Yeah,
great, but actually, hold on, this one's the preferred option. So questions like, what do I need to do to stand out? And I'm saying this. I know you're probably thinking, oh, what qualifications do you have to talk on this? The only thing I could say here is, look, I don't sell myself, but I speak to a lot of sellers that
yeah,
are doing considerable volumes. And one of the things they say is, okay, we always have to stand out.
yeah,
Is there anything you could do within your image to make your product stand out a little bit more? And it could be just creative, the way you take the picture, just the things you sell with the pictures, because your pictures just are so much more informative than just general text. Is there anything you can do, like data dive, for example, allowing you to analyze what terms are used in the listings on your biggest competitors? That could give you a huge edge to and get your creative juices going,
Yeah.
right? And you kind of want that, don't you? So yeah, it's definitely a lot more to think about now, and you need to be taking it more seriously. And I think I personally think it before it was easy. Like I think it was probably a little bit too easy for a lot of people, and now you really have to diversify, and you really have to consider looking at other ways you can increase the brand and get more awareness to the brand.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, dude, I mean, um, yeah, it's huge. And PPC's more important than ever,
Yeah,
like, because, they closed all the loopholes with the reviews and stuff. And what was I going to say? I can't remember, man. I just think that, like, high level, people just have to realize that we're not in the same business as we used
yeah,
to be. And we got to slow down a little bit and retool how we've
yeah,
been doing everything and focus on profit, man, because there are some big companies that are, having some issues, man. It's
yeah,
not easy, dude. It's been tough for a lot of people.
yeah,
And so the ones that survive are going to be the ones that lean out and be smart about stuff. And PPC is huge, man. Like, here's kind of how I describe it with the PPC services is that when somebody gives you your PPC, man, they put so much faith in you because PPC determines whether or not the thing wins or loses.
yeah,
So like when someone hands you their PPC, there needs to be a lot of trust. And I think of it like insurance.
yeah,
Good PPC service is like an insurance company.
yeah,
You know what I mean, dude? We're not only paid to maintain things, but grow it as well and just not mess it up. Uh, yeah, dude. So transitioning over to George just came from the Sell Plus Scale Summit in, I think it was Las Vegas, right?
yeah, mate.
Yeah, man. So a lot of sellers have been talking about this, and it's a big industry thing. So, how was the conference, and did it help you with business? So, if you guys are agency owners or PPC consultants, this will help you because George is going to share with us, whether or not it was fruitful for his business in
Yeah,
terms of like leads.
yeah, sure. So from a selfish point of view, in terms of how it went, from a business point of view, yeah, it was the most successful event we've ever sponsored. I think we've picked up, I think, 28 leads,
28 leads.
28 leads from
I
that
know you
event.
told me before, but it's still a lot.
Yeah,
It's a lot,
yeah,
dude.
and they're serious sellers. They came in. Not only are they big brands, but they've come in and like we know what we're looking for. We know
Yeah.
we're looking for this. But the funny story is, right? We were the first person to sponsor the Seller Scale Summit.
Yeah.
So what basically happened is I was talking to our agency rep at Helium 10, just having a chat about kind of the things we're doing with them, and I said to the chap Ryan, what a character! If you've not met Ryan, he's a character. But I just said to him, is there anything we can sponsor that Helium 10 are doing? Because we calculated last year, sponsorships is the most profitable thing for us.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Out of everything we do, Google Ads, SEO,
So when you sponsor, do you have to be there?
you have to be there. Yeah,
You
yeah,
have
yeah.
to.
And you
Okay,
get a
cool.
booth and so on and so forth. So we were like, is there anything you guys are doing? And he went, funny enough, there's an event we're about to publicize. Let me put you in touch with Jasmine, who deals with sponsorships. So I called Jasmine and I was like, apparently you have an event. So Jasmine is trying to sell to me at the event. I said, Jasmine, you don't have to sell to me. Just show me the floor plan. So show me the floor plan and show me how much it's going to, tell me how much it's going to cost. She told me what it's going to cost. It cost about 10 grand. And we said, right. She said, where do you want to be? I said, right, in the center. Put us right next to Helium 10, right next to them. So I think location as well was important. But yeah, so we sponsored it. That was really good. In terms of comparing this Helium 10 event to other events, it's way more high profile.
Yeah.
So they had Neil Patel there. Gary Vee came and spoke. So which I'm pretty jealous about because the Better AMS team and my team got to take a picture of Gary Vee, and I was in my room sending an email, and missed out on all of that as he was leaving with his entourage. So, but yeah, it was a successful event. A lot of high end sellers as well were there. Yeah, so I know Gary Vee asked a question when he was speaking. Put your hand up if you do more than 5 million a year on Amazon, and I saw way more hands go up than I thought.
Really?
Yeah, way more hands. Gus in the back.
Wow.
But yeah, no. All in all, it was a great event. There was like a party every night. That's why I'm so happy I'm here with Sean because like Sean's a mellow guy. He's relaxed, and after that crazy week, I just need to just like take it slow and take it easy. So
Yeah, you don't come to my house to party. You come to my house to relax.
to relax, yeah.
I'm not too much of a party guy. I like to go out and stuff, but I don't go too hard.
Yeah.
I like to, sleep and, just, it's the temple, relax kind of.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I know I haven't done an event in a long time, but I remember when we did Global Sources Summit in Hong Kong. That was when we started, and even Prosper Show. We were at like the first or second. I spoke at like the first or second Prosper Show when it started.
Whoa,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
back in the day, dude. It's
Old
crazy.
school.
Old school, dude. It's so crazy to see how the industry has evolved over the past like 6-7 years, because we were kind of there in the beginning when like there was no like the Prosper Show was super scrappy and small, and now it's like the biggest one. And so it's just crazy to see it grow. Helium 10 grow. I mean, oh dude, it's been insane, but it's been a good ride, man. I think dude, I don't think I have anything else to cover. What do you think?
No, I was just, it's interesting because when you mentioned you were at one of the first events, because one of the biggest mistakes we made as an agency is when we first got into PPC, we were quite early to get into it, but I didn't know just the magnitude of how big it was in the US.
Yeah.
So I focused. So Google Ads at the time, we were paying 50p a click.
Yeah.
So if anyone searched Amazon ad agency, 50p a click, the conversion rates were through the roof. There were people like, when I spoke to them, they're like, I've been looking for someone like you for ages. So we spent all of our efforts
on AdWords,
on Google Ads in the UK. So we dominated the UK.
Yep.
And then one day, Econometrics, they actually referred someone to us, and we're like, people make this much money a month? Like
wow.
1 month, they made more money than any of our accounts did in a year. And we were like, right, after that, we were like, right, we just need to be at every event that's possible in the US. We're 2 years behind now, and we need to catch up. So
yeah, I think for anyone, especially if you're an agency or consultant, it's volume.
Yeah,
like whatever you're gonna do it in volume. Yeah. Like we did, like when we were really scaling the course, the PPC course. It was volume, but it was online. It was Facebook every single day. Yeah. It was Facebook ads. We were in there every day. For events, volume. It's all volume. And I think these days it is content. Yeah. I know Gary Vee said that at the thing, but I think content's still really important, more important than ever, to be honest, because that's how you build trust with an audience, and that's how people see you and stuff. And then they build that trust over time, and then
boom. I don't know if this is helpful for agency, for Amazon sellers, but one thing I've always done is diversified. How do I promote myself? Where can I be? Where there's my target audience.
That's true.
And to begin with, it was Google Ads, but I felt incredibly uncomfortable with that, because I just said to myself, what happens if Google Ads dies off?
Yep.
At the time, I was paying 50p a click. Now it's 20 to 25 pounds a click.
Wow.
I'm paying. So knowing that now, it's just not profitable anymore. But we still need to do it, obviously, to an extent, because of just branding, which is good for. But 2 years ago, I went into a massive frenzy of what else is there that I can do. Can we do email marketing? Can we do content creation for SEO? Can we go to live events? Can we go on podcasts? Can we create our own podcast? So we've done all of these things, and luckily now we're able to just go to a lot of events, sponsor them, and that is incredibly fruitful for us. So, and even that right now makes me uncomfortable. I'm like, this is not good. People will find out about how fruitful these events are. So we need to do something again. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, what else can I do next that's going to help me kind of get a good return for the business? Yeah. So it's always in the forefront of my mind. And I guess from Amazon sellers' point of view, if you're relying solely on pay-per-click, it's very dangerous, and that should make you feel incredibly unsettled.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And I think, like you said, like it's just keeping your finger on the pulse, listening. Yeah. Listening's huge. I feel like having the right people around you and listening to them is huge, because they'll put you in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
We just do that. Just listen, and then try stuff out. Like you said, see which one sticks. Yeah. Scale it up. And then when it doesn't work anymore, just keep your finger on the pulse and move around. Because PPC is going to get harder and harder. Selling on Amazon is going to get more and more difficult. It's kind of like Google SEO back in the day, when you could just do black hat. Like people made so much money doing like backlinks, basically selling backlinks. Like you could rank a website with black hat in like a day on like main keywords. You buy a bunch of backlinks and boom.
But not only that, what you could also do is you can have a white background text, and in the white background text you can have a white background, And on the background, you can have white background text of whatever keywords you're trying to rank for.
Yep.
Just hundreds of that keyword.
And people wouldn't see them.
People wouldn't see them.
Exactly.
But actually, the machine will pick it up and it will get ranked. And overnight, there was one SEO guy I used to work with. Overnight, he went out of business. Overnight, Google made changes to the algorithm, and that was it. The way he did things just didn't work. All of his clients lost their rank, and some were sandboxed.
Penguin. It was probably Penguin, because there was 2 Penguin updates. They're called Google Penguin. You guys can look them up.
Right.
But they were 2 updates. They were both backlink updates. To my knowledge, when Google Penguin 2 update came out, it slaughtered the whole SEO industry.
Right.
Like, it went from being able to do like private blog networks where you can, I don't know if you guys ever heard of PBNs, but like these private blog networks where they link together to make them more powerful.
Yeah.
And then, but it just took them down. Google figured it out.
Yeah.
And I always say, like, with the equivalent to backlinks on Amazon is reviews. Reviews are backlinks in my head.
Right.
Because the review is the main thing that gets you ranked.
Yeah.
And on SEO, backlinks was the most powerful one. If you can get a good backlink, that'll rank you up. And so I'm always waiting for Amazon's Google Penguin 2 to come out and just make it to where it's almost impossible to do. They're doing it. I mean, they run some companies out of business, like I think Rebate Key or something like that. But those companies that were doing rebates, Amazon cracked down on those on the API. Yeah. So they're really getting better. Their algorithm's getting better at sniffing out those fake reviews.
Yeah.
Before, it was just so much easier than it is now. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Google Penguin, man. That's the big one. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys found this helpful. We were just chatting about stuff. We weren't really doing too much. I'm trying to think. Was it? Yeah, it was good. It was just a chat, man. It was just a good chat.
Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Takeaways. Do you have any takeaways? Like, is there anything that you think if you could leave someone?
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking too.
When you go to you hear people talk or you hear lessons, it's really easy to go, there's like lots of good content, but actually, how do you summarize it in bullet points? Yeah, and what can you do for people to remember that a year down the line is a good
Number one, if you manage PPC, whether you're a consultant, agency owner, Amazon brand owner, or you work for an Amazon brand, start looking at profit. If you're not already, start looking at profitability closer.
Yeah.
And I'm talking profit per SKU.
Yeah. Start
looking at that, number one, because the people that do that are the businesses will survive longer. And number two, the consultants and agency owners, they're gonna have their clients for a lot longer, and they're gonna build a service that's unique.
Yeah.
I feel like. Number two, put in the volume for lead generation, man. When it comes to finding leads, test different channels. Like his is traveling and sponsoring, right? Find out what channel works best for you. If you can't travel, maybe you don't have the resources to do it, you can't sponsor, that's fine, but find a channel that works. Usually content really works. I would do that. And I think those are the 2 big ones, man. And then number 3, number 3, I think is huge, is making sure that you're having conversations around what success looks like in the current economy.
Great.
Like you're having those conversations and listening and like working on it together.
Yeah.
Because we're programmed, a lot of people are programmed to think they need to keep going up.
Yeah.
But when the economy hits, bro, it hits hard.
Yeah. So. I think there's one thing from me, and that's be different. That's it. Be different. Always think, any part of your business, how can you be different? How can you do things? Don't wait for someone else to do it. Why don't you be the first to do it? Just be different, stand out. I don't know what that looks like from a seller's point of view. You've got to really think about that and understand it. It might be when Amazon launches a new type of ads, get in there quick. Be the one that gets in fast and tests it out when they, for example, they brought out a search query report on an ASIN level. Can you be the first person to get into that, delve into that data, understand how it can benefit you and do something about it? From an agency point of view, not only do we understand sponsorships is important and sponsorships is profitable, but we're trying to be different on every aspect. So we ran our first ever event for high-end sellers a few months ago. We don't advertise it, but it's a private thing. We've seen a great amount of success, and from a branding point of view, it's been great for us.
And retention,
and also we learned a lot. That's one thing. Another thing is, we're trying to get into Walmart DSP. Only 1 or 2 agencies have a seat. We're trying to get a seat. I didn't follow them. that, at the time when I was looking into this process, we were the only ones that I knew of that were looking into the process. It's just that they got in there faster because they're bigger agencies. What else are we doing? I'm going to focus more on branding now, personal branding. That's just something I want to try and do. But always, I'm never comfortable. Do not be comfortable. It's like riding a bike. If you stop pedaling, you won't stop. You will fall off. And that's just the way it is with business. Always be different. Just be different. That's my takeaway.
Cool. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.
Love, peace.
George from the UK. And we'll see you guys next time.